is none other than Jesus. So, in verses 1 to 2, John established the nature para mas kilala natin sino yung Word. May explain naman dito and na-declare naman ni John in verses 1 to 2. It says in verse 1a, it says there that in the beginning, the Word already existed. Take note from the word in the beginning. So, ibig sabihin, before the creation began, Jesus already existed. Buhay na po siya. So, John declares that the eternal pre-existence of the Word. This is something na hindi po natin maintindihan as humans kasi we are bounded with time. Ibig sabihin nun, let's say for example, ako ay pinanganak ng 2000. Some of you pinanganak ng 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s, and so much and so forth. Kumaga, we are bounded by time. But the thing here is that John brings us back to the edge of the eternity past and future and states that the Word was already existing and continuing when God brings time into existence. So sa madaling salita, the Word is an eternal past o walang hanggayan kasalukuyan at buhay pa rin until the ends of the earth eternally. Walang hanggang kabuhayan. In verses 1b, another nature that John declared that the Word was with God. So John says the eternal relationship with God. So kumbaga that the Word is being distinct, may distinct, but having this kind of intimacy and equality with God. It is evident in John chapter 17 verse 5. It says that, "And now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began." So Jesus speaks of this intimacy and equality of Himself. And lastly, in verse 1c, it says that and the Word was God. So we knew that the Word is already existing. The Word was distinct with the Father, and the Word is eternally God. So Jesus is, always has been, and always will be God. It is stated in a different manner in John chapter 14, verse 9 to 10. This is when Jesus is having a conversation with Philip. It says here that Jesus replied, "Have I been with you all this time, Philip, and you still don't know who I am? Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. So why are you asking me to show him to you? Don't you believe that I am the Father and the Father is in me?" So kumbaga, we could see that John chapter 1 verse 1 is an incredible theological statement in a compact form that it explains everything. That the Word is already existing. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. And reinforces in verse 2, it says that He existed in the beginning with God. So John's opening declaration about the Word, that the Word exists from all eternity as a distinct person who is in intimate fellowship with the Father and is Himself in character and essence of God. So we knew the nature na sino yung Word na sinasabi ni John is declaring. So in verses 3 to 5, this shows the characteristics to further understand na sino yung Word. In verse 3, it says that God created everything through Him, and nothing was created except through Him. So napakalinaw dito that the Word is not a created being, for He is the Creator. In Colossians chapter 1, verse 16 to 17, this talks about the supremacy of Christ. It says there that, "For through Him, God created everything." Sinasabi ko for through Him, I'm referring to Christ. That God created everything in the heavenly realms and earth. He made the things that we can see and the things that we can see, such as thrones, kingdoms, rulers, and authorities in unseen world. Everything was created through Him and before Him. That He existed before anything else and He holds all creations together. So, we can say that Jesus is not the creator. It's not the creator being, but the created being, but rather He is the creator. And verses 4 to 5, another characteristic of who the Word is. It says here that the Word gave life to everything, and that was created. And His life brought light to everyone. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. Ayan. So, ang konsepto ng life na binabanggit dito ni John is not all about the physical life or yung biological existence na meron po tayo. O ibig sabihin nun, ang buhay ng tao. All of God's creatures meron po yan. What is referred here is the concept of the fullness of life or hindi tawag na spiritual life. In chapter 3 of John, in-expand naman dito na yung concept, this is where Jesus is having a conversation with Nicodemus yung tungkol sa being born again. And with that in mind, that the true life, the fullness of life, the spiritual life is only found in Jesus Christ. And this life was available that is shine for para sa lahat po yan. And kung napapansin nyo, as I highlighted there, it says that His life brought light to everyone. So, ano bang meron sa atin na bakit tayo felt in darkness in the first place? Why would God bring light? So, ibig sabihin, may situation pala nangyari sa atin. To further understand that, as Paul states in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, it says that Satan, who is the God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They're unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. So napakalinaw dito that those who understand the joy, the truth and righteousness, the justice, will welcome Him. But for those who practice evil, will reject and resist Him. So we can see that the Word is already existing. The Word was God, and the Word was with God. We knew that the Word is the Creator. He is the life and the light. So, which brings us to the first point of this message, that the Word is being revealed. So, John declares the character and essence of who Jesus is. Alam na natin na sino yung Word. We knew that He is the light, He is the Creator, and He is the life. So all of that being said, sa lahat ng truth na sinabi ko po kanina, which brings us to the second point is the manifestation of the Word. O ang sinasabi na sa Tagalog, paano po ito ipinahayag ang katotohanan na ito sa buong mundo. So in verse 6 to 8, sabi dito that God sent a man, John the Baptist, to tell about the light so that everyone might believe because of his testimony. John himself was not the light. He was simply a witness to tell about the light. Yeah. So, John the Baptizer was sent by God with authority to prepare the way for the Lord and be a witness for Christ, who was the light, so that everyone might believe. It is revealed in verse 9, sabi po dito that the one who's true light, who gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. So John declares, it is yung ebidensya na presenta na, we know the truth, we know His characteristics, we know His nature, and that the witness of God is proclaiming. That the reason that why the witness of God is proclaiming, because in Romans, did I wrote that? In Romans chapter 1 verse 20, it says that Paul points out that all creations or sinatawag ng buong mundo cries out for the witness of the Creator so that no one is lost. Kumbaga, we want something, a witness, may magsabi that Jesus was coming, that the Savior is coming. Sino nga ba yung Creator? Sino nga ba yung life? But it is stated now that the witness is proclaiming that the one who is true light, who gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. Despite of proclamations, syempre, it depends on the people how would they respond to this kind of proclamations. In verses 10 to 11, it says that He came into the very world that He created, but the world didn't recognize Him. He came in His own people, and even they rejected Him. So, John again points out that the world was created through Him into existence. But this emphasis more on the relationship of God and the people. So, all creations belongs to Him, but the world did not know Him. Even if we have the intellectual knowledge, yes, we knew that God is almighty, is powerful, is the Savior. Yes, we all knew that, but the question remains is, do we have that kind of personal relationship with the Father? Do we have that kind of personal relationship with Jesus Christ? So, which this brings us that people do not recognize Him. Sabi pa dito sa verse 11, even more personal, that He came into His own people and even they rejected Him. Siguro, mas maintindihan natin, like for example, is kayo na magulang na sobrang bait, sobrang mapagbigay, mapagmahal, everything na good characteristics that you may think of, but yung mga anak nyo ay na-reject lang kayo. Hindi na kayo pinansin. Despite sa lahat ng bagay na binigay nila sa mga anak nyo, pero yung anak nyo ni-reject. So parang gano'n yung feeling na yung rejection or yung hindi natin recognize si Christ, that we knew that Christ is full of love, but still we rejected Him. While most people reject Jesus, there are few that do receive Him and gain additional blessing. It is stated in verse 12 to 13. It says that but to all who believe in His name and accepted Him, He gave the right to become children of God. So they are reborn not with a physical birth, resulting from human or plant, but a birth from God. So for this brings us the radical change that John brings out the concept of being part of God's family. Bilang anak tayo ng Diyos. Yes, we were created in terms of physical, but the question remains, does our heart belongs to God? Do we accept God as our Lord and Savior? This talks more on the spiritual family or the being child of God. So, to believe on His name is to have faith and trust for all the truths that being declared. Sinabi ko po kanina, that the individual that places their trust that Jesus has given us the right and authority to become children of God. In the first few verses, we knew His deity, we knew the characteristics, His nature, His essence. Alam na po natin yan. But to those who believe Him, they regain additional blessing. It says in verse 13 that they are reborn not with a physical birth resulting from human or plant, but a birth from God. So, being birthed into God's family is due to God's mercy and grace as He works upon that individual, and that individual responds to that word so that no one can boast. All glory goes to God, and the good news is that God is at work. So, as you can see na alam na natin yung truth. We knew His character. We knew the essence of God. And by that being said, the question remains is, how would you respond. Sa lahat ng mga binanggit ko po kanina, the character, the essence of God, the witness of God is proclaiming that the Savior is coming into this world to bring light to everyone. But the question remains is, how would you respond? Or rather, not limited sa atin lang, but how would the world respond sa proclamations and the evidences is presented here, the above the truth. Which brings us to the last point of this message. It is the purpose of the incarnated Word. Despite that we are sinners, despite that the world is in darkness, despite that we are blinded, that we don't recognize God, but God or Christ made home for us. In verse 14, sabi nito lang, so the Word became flesh and made His home among us, that He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness, and we have seen His glory, the glory of the Father's one and only Son. Yeah, so napakasarap pakinggan that despite that we are like that, despite that we are sinners, Christ made His home among us. The reason that we are so happy, the reason that we are so blessed, the reason that why we are celebrating Christmas, it is because that we recognize Christ. That He personally come down to this earth and He wants us to be invited to be part of His family. And not only that, that we witness His full of unfailing love and faithfulness. In that essence, that we can define that Christmas is a season of love, for Jesus brought light to everyone. So, in conclusion, Christmas is not something about gifts. It's not all about holidays. It's not all about vacation or pang-winter season or sabi na December na or parties. O kung ano pa po ganyan. Christmas is not just only knowing that it is the day when Christ was born, or it is just a tradition that the churches will celebrate. But Christmas, as we knew right now, it's a recognition of Christ. That we recognize and believe Him, that all the truths that has given us the right and authority to become children of God. So, the challenge for all of us, as witnesses of Christ, let us share His love and faithfulness to the other people, so they may feel this or having experience when they were part of God's family. Thank you po, and God bless us.